What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We're up to episode 45. That is crazy. And we have a little bit of a Christmas special for you guys today. I am, of course, joined by my two lovely, jolly, merry. Actually, only one of them is really merry. Thanks, Gage. Thanks, Grinch Gage out here. I'm, of course, joined by Jake Maltese, Gage Hall. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing great. I just saw Eternals. I have not seen Spider-Man yet, so of course I'm getting shit from these guys.
Yeah.
I will be seeing it tomorrow. Super excited about it. But other than that, I'm so excited for this episode. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well. I've actually seen Spider-Man, so I'm doing especially well because of that.
Man.
But yeah, I would like to address the people. I went to the store earlier. The main goal of going to the store was to get a Santa Claus hat or something. I fumbled the bag. I got everything else that I was there to get and not that. So I apologize if you're watching on YouTube. I'm not in the Christmas spirit like I should be. I'll be better next time.
He'll be better next time. But I was saying before the show, like, everybody needs a Grinch, right? And I feel like Gage could play that role. Yeah, of course. So if you guys are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, make sure to leave us a rating and review. They just added a new feature on Spotify where you can leave ratings on podcasts now. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Comment, turn on post notifications. You got it. All right. Before we get into the Guess That Player, I think Jake and we should do a little flex. You want to show off?
Oh,
I got Carlton. I bet you weren't expecting that.
I was expecting a Packers player.
No, that is Carlton from
that's great though.
Bel-Air. Absolutely.
All right, I got my Seahawks ugly sweater going on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. By the way, sleeves are way too long. This
Same.
Sweater fits me perfectly.
Same.
What's going on here? Like fucking NFL shop bullshit.
They're screwing you over for the holidays, man.
I know.
Not cool. All right. So here we go. Guess that player. I have one in mind. I'm gonna give you guys hints this time. I'm feeling a little nice, the holidays coming around.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
He's trying to salvage himself on the nice list after all he's done this year to be on the naughty list.
Oh, of course.
He's like, shit, let me start picking it up.
Yeah. It's always in the last couple days. You always
always the last stretch. Yeah,
for sure. All right. This player was drafted in the second round of the 2008 draft. He's a wide receiver.
Still playing?
Let me get.
Okay.
4 straight seasons coming into the league. 4 straight seasons of 900 plus receiving yards, and in 4 out of his first 7 seasons, he went over 1,000.
Is this Randall Cobb?
It's not Randall Cobb. No. He's played for 5 different NFL teams. He's led the league in yards per reception 4 times. 4 times.
Oh, it's Deshaun Jackson.
There it is. It is Deshaun Jackson. That was a good one. I went with Deshaun Jackson because I remember the Miracle in the Meadowlands. That was around this time of year. What was that, 10 years ago now? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Took that punt all the way back to the house on the last play of the game. That was a fun one.
That was a good one. That one made me think a little bit because that's because immediately I was
makes sense.
Yeah. Because I knew there were no superstar wide receivers that I could think of from that draft. In terms of I wouldn't consider them. But as soon as you said yards per reception, I immediately went speedsters. And that's where I came up with Deshaun.
And Deshaun is still kicking it. He's still honestly as fast as ever, which is wild because he's 35 years old right now.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy. Well, we have a great show for you guys. We're going to do a little bit of a holiday themed this time. Not so much sports. It's going to be, we're going to obviously, it's Totally Unqualified podcast. We're going to be talking about sports, but it's going to be a Christmas theme. So first up on the chopping block, naughty or nice, guys. We have naughty or nice. You have to give me one player who's exceeded expectations, if I could speak, and one player that is underperformed. So the nice player is going to be the one that overperformed. The naughty player is going to be one that underperformed. Now, let's start with the underperforming first. Jake, if you want to start us off.
Yes. The first player, saying first, I only have one. The one player I have on my naughty list this year, which brings me, I hate saying this, man.
I know.
I hate saying it. I hate saying it. No, you don't.
We might have the same player.
I hate saying this because I'm such a fan of him. And I really want him to work out because I think he's awesome for the league. His personality, it just draws so many eyeballs. And honestly, one of my favorites, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's on my naughty list this year. Man, just that second half of the year performance and that performance that he brought into the playoffs last year was unreal. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if the Browns would have signed him to an extension right then and there after that season because he played tremendous football at the end of the year and into the playoffs. He honestly gave them a chance to beat the Chiefs. He did. He left it all out there on the field. He played great. He played a great game. And nobody in football, no analysts besides Colin Cowherd probably found a way could blame him for the loss. Right. But this year he's just, I don't know what it is. Him and Kevin Stefanski were supposed to have this amazing connection. They were supposed to be, the future head coach quarterback combo. It was a match made in heaven. Kevin Stefanski created the offense that around what Baker loves to do: play action, roll out, run the ball. That was Baker's bread and butter, and that was Kevin Stefanski's offense. Seemed like a match made in heaven. Don't know what happened this year. Now there's reports coming out that there's some rifts between Kevin Stefanski and just the coaches and Baker Mayfield, which is just seems like it got derailed really quickly. But Baker hasn't lived up to expectations. So it's unfortunate because I love Baker Mayfield and I think his electric personality is great for the league, but he's finding himself on the naughty list this year.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It's very unfortunate, and we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast, but it's very unfortunate to see the just dive that he's taken almost this season compared to last season. Hopefully he can pick it up and get back on the nice list next year. We'll see what Santa has to say about that. But I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go with a name that I feel like people probably haven't heard in a little while. Calvin Ridley. Coming into the year, and this isn't a dig at him at all because I know he's taking some time off for mental health. So this isn't against that whatsoever. But as far as the expectations coming into the season, we were expecting him, to be the number one guy in fantasy football. We were expecting him to go off for the Falcons with Julio Jones taking a step out the door and heading over to the Titans. And he just hasn't been around, unfortunately. He's a guy that I think could definitely be back on the nice list next season if he gets back on the field, gets back right and does what he needs to do. But yeah, he's just hasn't been around.
It is tough because he is taking off time for mental health purposes, but like you see the Falcons, they're sort of in the mix. I know that they just fell to 6-8, but you think if they had Calvin Ridley, that'd
better
give
than
them
the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think they get a couple more wins if they have Calvin Ridley. Maybe one more win. Maybe they're sitting at even like 7-7 right now. But yeah, it is unfortunate. Only 31 receptions for 281 yards in 5 games played. And when we thought he was going to be the number one receiver in fantasy this year, we picked the wrong small guy for an NFC team. So my underperforming player, Jake, you're not going to be too happy with this one, is DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf. And I understand Russell Wilson's injury has a big part to do with it, right? Obviously. Even so, I just completely, there's stats. I had his stats pulled up. Even so, he's having his worst season as a pro, only been in the league for 2 years. He has a 60% catch percentage right now. That's up from his rookie year, but down from last year where he had a 64. He's on pace to have his worst yardage. Actually, he's not on pace because they added the 17th game. So he's on pace to break 900 yards. He'll have around 1,000, maybe just under, I'd expect.
Yeah.
But we were talking last year, DK Metcalf potentially raising his stock and becoming a top 5 receiver with just his physical attributes that he has, where no other player really, since like Calvin Johnson, has those traits. Like we're talking about him in Calvin Johnson's. We're talking about them very similarly. It's been unfortunate. He has 8 touchdowns still. It's not like he's been playing terrible. It's just we had top 5 wide receiver expectations for him. Obviously, Russell Wilson's injury played a big part of that, but DK Metcalf is my underperforming player.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we can all agree that if Russell didn't get hurt, he would not be having his worst season ever, right? We can agree on that.
That's fair.
Gage,
I feel like we can say that about any of the guys that we've named so far, though. If Calvin Ridley, is in a better place mentally, then I'm sure he'd be having a great season. Baker Mayfield is dealing with injuries too. So these aren't guys that necessarily we're just shitting on, but guys that just the season hasn't gone their way.
Yeah, and Gage, one guy that you kind of mentioned, like in your talk about Calvin Ridley, was Julio Jones. Julio Jones would be another one that could go on. Yeah. Julio has definitely underperformed expectations. Thank God I did not take him in fantasy. I was almost swayed by the name because ESPN, I mainly play ESPN. ESPN had him rated pretty low on the wide receiver tier list this year. And I was just shocked at that. I'm like, this guy's still in his prime. He's only 31. Yeah. He's still Julio fucking Jones. And they were right. I'm so glad I didn't draft him. The name almost swayed me, but I'm glad I didn't draft him.
And it's so crazy because Julio, for as many yards and as many catches as he's gotten in Atlanta, he was just not a big touchdown guy. I remember a couple years, he would only have like one touchdown a season, maybe three.
Yeah, he'd get
three touchdown season. Yeah.
He'd get him downfield, but then he wouldn't get in the end zone.
Exactly.
But to be fair, they never really targeted him in the end zone, which was just shocking. It's almost like
they stopped targeting him in the end zone because it wasn't working out. They would try to get it to him on first and second down, and it wouldn't happen. So other guys like Devontae Freeman, when he was on the team, would end up getting those touchdowns.
That's fair. That's a fair point. And they had Austin Hooper. Sorry. Wrong Pro Bowl tight end.
All right, Jake, you want to list off your nice player?
Yes. My nice player this year is rookie because he's just far exceeded any of our expectations, even though I was a huge proponent for him. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is my nice player for this year. It's not often that you have big expectations for rookie linebackers. I can't really think. I mean, Luke Kuechly, I would say, was a big one. But other rookie middle linebackers, like you don't really have expectations for them, so to speak, because it's not really a position that instantly translates. But Micah Parsons has obliterated any expectations that anybody had for him. And he's honestly placed himself in defensive player of the year.
He is my defensive
conversations.
He is my defense player.
Yeah. And you could honestly make an argument for him. TJ Watt fans are not going to like that. But honestly, guys, I'm sorry, Steelers fans. There are other defensive players in the league other than TJ Watt, as baffling as that is. Yeah. I know it's almost like the Drew Brees MVP crowd where like, Drew Brees has never won one, so he deserves it. It's like, that's not how this award works. Sorry, Gage. You got to earn this shit. And again, TJ Watt's doing great, but Micah Parsons, I made a video with my draft hot takes before the year saying that Micah Parsons deserves to be a top 5 pick. The amount of shit I got in my comment section for saying that, people were saying me, JOK, he's not even the best linebacker in this draft. JOK is better, which JOK is terrific. I love JOK. He did not deserve to fall that far. But everybody that gave me the shit about Micah Parsons' coverage ability obviously was just listening to an analyst and did not watch it. I watched every game this guy played. Okay. He came in with me as acting like I was on the football team. I'm not, but we came into Penn State. We came into Penn State at the same time. Watch every game this guy plays. The defense we played did not require him to be in coverage a lot. Very rarely was he ever in coverage. So he was very raw in coverage. Yes, he wasn't the best. So the times that he was put in coverage are the times that people would watch on film and be like, wow, see, he sucks at coverage. He was never put in that situation ever. So he didn't really have the opportunity to get good at it. He was, you honestly could have drafted him at defensive end. Now, I think they're probably fully going to move him to outside linebacker. I don't know if they're going to keep him at middle linebacker just because of how good of a pass rusher he is. So you definitely want to keep him there. But honestly, if they do have a weakness at middle linebacker and like they just keep teaching him and putting him in situations, because I've been seeing some film of him like covering running backs and stuff, and he's been doing great with that. So his coverage is getting better. So honestly, I shouldn't even say put him at outside linebacker. You put this guy, he's going to be one of those players. You put him anywhere on the field, he's going to succeed for you. It's the same thing with, honestly, I think Micah Parsons could be the first player since Khalil Mack to get first team All-Pro at 2 positions.
I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. And that's why he is my DPOY, because he's so versatile at both positions and he's the best. He's not even just great. He is one of the best, like top 5, top 3 at both positions right now. Micah Parsons is insane. And to see him transform that horrific defense that was dead last year. Yeah, he deserves that DPOY in my book.
It puts and you were talking about them moving him to outside linebacker full time. It puts the Cowboys in a really great position when it comes draft time, because they can look at both edge and middle linebacker, and whatever is the best available player there at one of those two positions, whoever's better, they can take that guy, because they know that they can put Micah Parsons in the other spot and be totally fine.
Exactly.
And there was another thing. There's a conversation that was had in the Discord, and I want to get your opinions on it, where it's like, when, especially with us being TikTokers and stuff like that, we make rankings and all that stuff all the time. Tons of people do it. How do you rank Micah Parsons? Because if you rank him as a linebacker, he's got way more sacks than any other middle linebacker, because they're not lined up at edge as much as he is. But then if you put him at edge, it's also a little bit difficult, because he's in coverage way more than those guys are. Yeah. So it gets really odd.
Well, it's just odd ranking players in the year 2021 to begin with, because you see so many versatile players like Cordero Patterson. Where do you rank him as a running back? Where do you rank him as a wide receiver? Same thing with Deebo Samuel. We're seeing a new trend in the NFL where players are playing multiple positions and being damn successful at it. So, I mean, I think you give even more credit to those players,
especially on the defensive side of the football, because we are in an era where the offensive-minded head coach is dominant, right? Like, all these guys want the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur. All these guys want their dominant, just wild card on the offense. Taysom Hill, it was Sean Payton. Everybody wants that type of player where when they're on the field, you don't know what they're going to do. Like, you honestly don't know what role they're going to be playing. It's very rare that you have seen that on the defensive side of the football. Now, Jamal Adams is kind of like that, because he's more in the box, but when he's in coverage, you're not really scared of him. Cam Chancellor was kind of that player. Of course, I'm just naming Seahawks, not because I'm biased or anything. But Khalil Mack was the prime example of this, where when Khalil Mack was on the field, you did not know what he was doing. You had no fucking clue, because if he's rushing the passer, guess what? You're fucked. If he's at outside linebacker, guess what? He can play coverage too, and you're fucked. Like, it's just, that's the type of player we're dealing with. And it's so fun to see, but it's such a rare thing for defensive players, because yes, you get the safety that also plays linebacker, but they're usually not as physical as actual linebackers are. Micah Parsons, I'm telling you, he ran a 4.4. You could put him at safety and he would do just fine. Like, Micah Parsons, you could literally put anywhere on the field and he is going to dominate. And that, it's terrifying. It's terrifying for offenses, but I hope we start getting more of these players into the league like this, because they are just so exciting. We've seen the offenses do it plenty. We've seen plenty of those players. I want to see these defensive geniuses come back into the NFL, and we start seeing some fun things on the defensive side of the football with these players.
You want to know how versatile he is? I don't know if you guys saw Bladen's video today. But he put out a video showing where Micah Parsons lined up at this entire season. He has a snap at center. He played center one time. Yeah, that's how versatile he is.
He played on the O-line. He was lead blocking.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Crazy. Put him everywhere. Put him everywhere.
Honestly, that'd be crazy.
Insanity. For my nice player, I am going to go back to the offensive side of the ball. And I'm going to go with the least fun position to pick for these kinds of things, and that's quarterback. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, I feel, has very much exceeded expectations this season. He started off a little rough. It was not looking good. People were judging him just like they have been since he entered the league. And he's played well, especially this latter half of the season. He's played extremely well. He's been one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL over that time, and he's playing well enough to get the Dolphins some wins. Now, their defense has also stepped up, so that's added to it. But Tua has not done a lot to put them in bad positions. He's put them in good positions more so than he's put them in positions to lose, I think. And what more can you ask out of a guy that's that young?
Tua is Drew Brees.
Oh,
I will make that.
He was getting that comparison when he was entering the league, and I think that's pretty accurate based on how he plays. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You know what else is pretty accurate? Tua Tagovailoa. 69.9 on the season.
Oh, fun number. The only I hated those Drew Brees comparisons when he was coming out, because Drew Brees is the most accurate quarterback of all time. Like, it doesn't even come close. Like, Drew Brees was surgical with the football. Tua, what was his issues with early it was accuracy. He was throwing balls and we were just like, dude, like that, where are you throwing that to? Like, but it's good to see that he's cleaned that up and that now I'm not going to say he's earned that nickname yet. He's earned that comparison yet, because Drew Brees is a hefty comparison for anybody. But he's been a lot better. I'm not going to say that I was a Tua hater, but I was not exactly a Tua truther. I just didn't believe in him. He didn't show me really anything. But I will put my money where my mouth is and say that, hey, he's definitely proven me wrong. And he's proven a lot of people that thought like me wrong. And he has earned that starting role in Miami. I can truly say that.
And all he's done is win, guys. Yeah. Like he went 6-3 in his first year. Now he's 5-4, and he's leading the Dolphins from a 1-7 record to a 7-7 record. And they're on the verge of a playoff berth. Like no team has done that in NFL history. I think we need to give Tua more respect as well. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get talked about nearly enough. My nice player, and you can't have a wrong answer for this, but you guys picked wrong answers. There's only one answer for a person who's over exceeded expectations. Cordell Patterson. No. Cooper Kupp. How could you not pick Cooper Kupp? Cooper Kupp has 1,500 receiving yards, and there are 3 more games to be played. Cooper Kupp has 14 touch. No. Sorry, they don't even have his updated stats after today's game.
Stats from tonight.
So he has over 1,500 receiving yards. I'll have
1,600, over 1,600.
Yeah,
I think
and 14 touchdowns.
I think he's on pace. I think he's on pace to be a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
A Triple Crown receiver this year.
He will be. He will be 113 catches, or that's more now, of course. He's ridiculous. Every single game, it's like nobody could cover him. And you know who Matt Stafford is throwing to.
Yeah.
It's like Robert, now that Robert Woods is going down, he doesn't really have that much trust with OBJ yet, or chemistry. I mean, he's throwing it to Cooper Kupp every single time, and they still have him returning punts. Like this guy is quite literally doing everything for this team, having the most ridiculous wide receiver season in a while. When's the last Triple Crown that we had? Was it Steve Smith?
It was Steve Smith
in 05.
Yep.
Or 08. Was it 08?
I think it was around
05. Wild that Antonio Brown has never done it. That's the guy that, I'm kind of shocked that Antonio Brown never did it.
Or even Julio Jones.
Julio Jones didn't catch touchdowns.
Yeah, he didn't get the touchdowns.
Yeah.
I feel like that just shows how tough it is to get that, though. I mean,
or Megatron. Megatron, too.
You really have to be on at receiver. You have to be the best guy at that position the entire season.
And you have to stay healthy, because we're in an era where teams will double you. Like they're going to double you. It's like this. They're doubling Cooper Kupp, and it's the most intimidating thing in sports when you know what's going to happen and you still can't stop it. Like who can we say that about? We say that about Derrick Henry. Honestly, probably Jonathan Taylor at this point. Yes. Anything Sean Payton does. Michael Thomas. Yeah. And there's only that is such a prestigious class of players to be put into where you know what's coming and you can't stop them. That's what Cooper Kupp is in that class right now. And I've seen people hate on him on Twitter for it's cheap yardage. Okay. Exactly. It's Cam Newton in 2015. If you don't like it, fucking stop it. All right. You can't. All these coaches know who Matt Stafford is going to, and they still can't stop him. Why? Because I don't know. Maybe he's just that good. I feel like Cooper Kupp is so underrated, and people don't realize how good of a route runner this guy is. He's surgical running routes. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. But guess what? He gets open. Sounds like I tweeted this out a while ago. Jerry Rice.
Football IQ is just so high. He knows what he's looking at. He's reading the field. It feels like just like Matt Stafford is. He knows what coverage he's looking at, and he knows exactly where to go to get in behind guys and find holes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Only 5 games this season with less than 100 yards receiving, and only 1 with less than 90.
That's insane.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So those were our naughty and nice players of the 2021 season. Hopefully those naughty players will find themselves on the nice list next year. Now, overtime. Overtime. We keep telling you, we keep pushing this into your ears. The Overtime app is just the greatest thing ever. Let me just say, it's just the greatest thing ever. And it's sports meets social media. And we just so happen to host a Sunday fantasy pool every single week until the Super Bowl, where you could win literally free stuff. Last week, it was a free jersey. The week before, it was a free Amazon gift card. The week before, it was an NFL Shop gift card. This week, it is going to be just a bunch of Overtime merch, everything you can want, hoodies, sweatpants, shirts, t-shirts, everything you want. You are going to get it in that package. So make sure to download the Overtime app using the link in any of our bios and join the Overtime app and join our fantasy pool. It's going to be right on the front page, the Totally Unqualified pool. Now, who won it actually? Shit. What was his
Ethan
name?
L. Ethan L.
Shout
out to Ethan. Shout out to Ethan.
Shout out to Ethan L.
Also, go ahead, Gage.
There could only be one winner because it's an NFL jersey. There wasn't any like splitting it because it was monetary value or anything like that. He was the standalone winner anyway.
He won outright.
He just picked the perfect lineup. He won outright.
Which is wild. Good job, Ethan. Good fucking job, Ethan. By the way, shout out to the 677 brand new users of the Overtime app this week, which is honestly crazy because we had 693 players in the pool. So just thank you guys so much for downloading this app. I promise you, like the giveaways they're doing, like CEO of Sports app. I don't know if you guys like they just gave away a free year Spotify membership for free. They're giving out Overtime. Go ahead.
Before that, it was AirPod Pros.
Yeah.
And then $100,
just $150 cash.
Yeah.
Just cash. Like the shit that they're giving away on this app is honestly wild. And like, if you don't have it at this point, I feel bad for you because you're honestly missing out. It's so easy. It takes 15 seconds to join these pools and they're giving away so much free shit. You don't pay a penny. You don't pay a penny for this app and you're getting the entertainment on top of it. And, you know, we may or may not be becoming more involved with this app. We may or may not see our faces on this app coming soon. That's a little teaser right there. But honestly, guys, it's so fun. If you don't have this app at some point, like honestly, guys, I don't even care if you don't use our link to support the channel and you just go on the App Store and download it. You need this app. You need this app. It's so awesome. Can't what's the word? Can't
thank you guys
for it enough. Yeah. That can't thank you guys enough either. Can't thank you guys.
And Overtime is doing a 12 days of giveaways event on their app right now. They are on day 8. So you only have 4 days left to win yourself some free prizes. I think the last prize they just gave out were some AirPods. So yeah, they're giving away great stuff. All right, moving on. Wish list. You know, we're always writing our list to Santa every year. You know, just a couple of grown ass men writing some list to Santa every single year. You know, so what's your guys' wish list for the NFL? What do you guys want to see happen before the end of this season? Okay. So I'm going to start with you, Gage. Tell me one thing, or what's going to be on your NFL wish list?
This might be a little surprising to some people, might be surprising to you guys because, you know, I've been high on the Colts ever since the offseason. I want to see the Titans get healthy. I want to see what this team can do at full capacity, even if it's like before the playoffs, within the playoffs, whatever. We were talking about it basically all off season. After they acquired Julio Jones, it was like, man, what are they going to do with AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry all on that team? You know, what are they going to look like? This offense is going to be crazy. And we haven't been able to see it because of how banged up this team has been. And their defense has way overperformed expectations. So if we get all of that combined, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what this Titans team can do.
I love that. I honestly, that hurts me to say because my sister's a Titans fan, so it's kind of annoying when they're being successful because she just rubs it in my face. But that team is so fun. Like I love Mike Vrabel as a coach. I hope he's in the conversation for coach of the year. I said it a while ago that he is my coach of the year. My thing with that team is it's just Tannehill could honestly have been on the naughty list of that last segment we just did because Tannehill. It seems like Arthur Smith had a lot to do with his success, and he's just not been as successful this year. Obviously, the injuries to Julio Jones and AJ Brown and just his entire offense doesn't help either. But yeah, that team, honestly, when they're fun, now that defense is coming up, is a fun team to watch.
100%. I want to see what they could do because they've been the number 1 seed for a long time in this NFL season. I believe they're down to the 3 seed now. They just lost to the
after the Chiefs and Pats.
Yeah, and the Chiefs all the way back up there. What? That's crazy. Yeah. It's tough that they did experience that injury to Derrick Henry, and he is probably gonna be out for the rest of the season. Hopefully, come back for the playoff run. He might come back before then. I mean, he
might come back. They're saying he might come back before the end of the season, which would be wild.
Yeah. We all know just how much he carries that team, to be quite honest. Yeah. And I want to see him back. I want to see, and not just him too, their defense has been getting injury riddled throughout the entire season. We're talking about a team that was, I want to say top 5 in sacks, which was kind of crazy. Because
between Harold Landry and I'm forgetting his name, but they've just been going on.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah. And that's not what you really expect from a Tennessee team, especially seeing what they've been putting out on the field for the past couple of years now. But the Titans, I want to see what they could do with a healthy Derrick Henry and what Ryan Tannehill can do. My MVP pick. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was right about the Super Bowl MVP. Will that count? I don't know.
Who is your Super Bowl MVP?
I mean, I hope it's Aaron Rodgers, but
all
right,
I'm
Jake,
questioned by me.
My
one thing on my wish list is for a non-quarterback to establish themselves as MVP of the NFL this year. I want to see a non-quarterback win MVP. And Luke, your guy, very much in the running to be that guy to win it, Jonathan Taylor. I honestly think that Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor have legitimate cases for being the best players in the NFL this year. No quarterback has established themselves, in my opinion. None. They've all kind of fallen off at some. Aaron Rodgers has had a good year. Yes, Luke, don't give me that look. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, yes, has probably been the most consistent, but even then, I wouldn't say he's separating himself. Like this is not, I wouldn't put this in his top 3 seasons ever. Like probably not. Yeah, exactly. So
the Saints just handed Aaron Rodgers MVP this week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Jameis did not do anything to, unfortunately, Gage, Jameis did not do anything to establish himself.
My $5 bet is just $5 wasted.
It's tough. That with all the Trent money that's gone to waste. It's tough. It's adding up, Gage.
I won $13 tonight, so that basically made up for it.
Oh, shoot. Go. Never mind. Back on top.
Yeah. I hate, since I'm back home in New York, I can't bet. I went to make a parlay the other day and I realized, I was like, I can't make it. And I think the parlay would have hit. I think it would have hit, which sucks. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I hate myself. And this state sucks. I think they're bringing sports betting to New York, and
it's kind of weird. Like it feels like New York would be a place that would be all for it.
It's because of the it was explained to me because of the stock market being here. It's very different. The rules are very, very strict in New York because of the New York Stock Exchange being here.
That's
and just with the SEC and everything, it all ties together. I know that's weird, but it all ties back to that. I don't know how, and I may be sounding like an idiot, but that's how somebody explained it to me about why New York is
somebody
so strict
that
with
makes
stuff.
a lot more money than I do is paid to deal with that stuff. So
exactly.
we'll let them continue to do that.
Exactly.
I could not be more happy with the NFL season that we're having right now. My 2 guys, on one hand, you have Jonathan Taylor, who I will just gush over every day. Then on the other hand, you got this guy, number 12, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man.
But I was going to say what I want to see is another Aaron Rodgers MVP, but in the spirit, another one. But that means that he's not going to win the Super Bowl. So absolutely, I'm not going to ask for that. I'm in the spirit of giving. And you know what? Those lousy, terrible fans of the Chicago Bears deserve better. They deserve better. Matt Nagy needs to be fired before the season's end. Matt Nagy needs to go. Matt Nagy should have been fired about 2 years ago. Matt Nagy sucks in every aspect of the word. There's nothing else that you could chalk it up as. Matt Nagy fucking sucks. Like that's it. I believe he has a winning record as a head coach, which is kind of crazy because he had those 9-7 seasons, and then obviously
Trubisky carried.
And then
that 1 year where they were at the double doink, where they had a pretty successful year.
Yeah, and that's what's kept him there. and then 2 8-8 seasons. I'm sorry, they were not 9-7. 2 8-8 seasons. Looking like the Dallas Cowboys of the 2010s over there. Matt Nagy is awful. He's not a great leader of men. I would not be able to play for this guy. He deflects blame. He throws tantrums on the field, just like he threw last night in the loss to the Vikings. He hasn't been able to develop a quarterback. He's not doing Justin Fields any justice, even though Justin Fields is probably one of the only two quarterbacks, him and Mac Jones, that are actually showing that they could compete in the NFL. Sorry, Trevor Lawrence next year with no Urban Meyer, but like, this guy is terrible. I would not want to play for him. He's supposed to be an offensive minded head coach. He came from the Andy Reid coaching tree. He played with he coached Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing. He had that 1-12-4 season, which is saving his job right now. And I don't know, him and Ryan. You know what? Ryan Pace, you could also get kicked out the door too. I'm not for the Chicago Bears being a good franchise. So if you want to hire a new head coach, I do know a guy that just was fired in Jacksonville, Florida. So I would be, maybe they do a little switcheroo there with the head coaches, but
that'd be funny.
Chicago deserves better in just every way, honestly.
I put a poll about this in the Discord earlier, which, by the way, if you guys are listening and you're not in the Discord, highly recommend it. We do stuff like that all the time. Which head coaching job do you guys think is more attractive right now? The Jaguars head coaching job or the Bears if Matt Nagy's out this season?
Number one overall pick and generational type quarterback, or so we thought. I'm going Jags. Yeah.
There's not as much pressure from the media. Jacksonville is not a big media market. You're in warm weather, no state income tax. You got generational talent. I don't care. I'll keep telling him he's a generational talent. He played better this week. He actually played pretty. He played
pools in the stadium.
Pools in the stadium. Not that they could use that or anything. But yeah,
that seems like something Urban Meyer would do, is just coach from the pool.
And I feel like Shad Khan gets shit on a lot, but Shad Khan, like, honestly, is an owner that wants to win. He's given the impression that he will do whatever it takes to win. And that's all you want from an owner.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would say Jags as well. That was my thought process too, because of what they have coming up and, what they're going to be what that head coach is going to be able to do stepping into that situation. And I agree about Shad Khan as well, because I think that he cares about the team, and that's why he's so involved in everything the way that he is. I think that he's just kind of made bad decisions along the way. Yeah. I feel like he needs to give up just a little bit of that power and let somebody else kind of take the reins and make those decisions. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that the ownership is good. I think that they are going to be in a great situation. I would say Jags as well.
I'm in the complete opposite boat. I actually think Shad Khan should be put into question for one, even hiring Urban Meyer in the first place, and then everything that happened there. But then he, to defend Urban Meyer before he fired him, he listed off the head coaches that he had prior to Urban Meyer, said we have a way of doing things. We had Gus Bradley here for 4 years. We had Doug Marrone here for 4 years. The thing is, those coaches were not good. And the Jaguars,
Doug Marrone had the AFC Championship season.
True. And to that point, I'll say, if that was such a special team, why did Jalen Ramsey not want to stay? That you have to put Shad Khan into question for that. Why did their stars not want to stay on that team? Calais Campbell is another one. AJ Bouye is another one. Like, these are players that made Jacksonville into Saxonville and made them the best defense in the league and carried them all the way to what looked like it was going to be a Super Bowl berth had Tom Brady not done Tom Brady things. But I don't know. We'll see what he does. Maybe if he hires Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell needs to have a job.
Jim Caldwell needs to have a job. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I was saying though. Like, I think from a head coaching perspective, if I'm a guy that is a candidate for that job, if I'm getting interviewed or if I'm being offered that position and I'm being offered the Bears position, I prefer the ownership of the Jaguars because Shad Khan obviously cares about the team and is going to support you in that way. Mm-hmm. Now, just don't be a douchebag like Urban Meyer, or don't be, completely shitty at your job like a lot of the coaches that they've had. And I think you'll be fine. Yeah. And you'll have the support of that guy. But I also think that, yes, Shad Khan has made some piss poor decisions along the way, I think. And that's why I was saying I think he needs to kind of give up some of that power and let the front office do what the front office needs to do and go from there.
Okay. But I don't think they were as bad. I actually do like the fact that he gives coaches 4 years because it gives them the big thing with like when Steve Wilkes was hired by the Cardinals and he got fired after 1 year. I don't like firing coaches after 1 year. Okay. Unless it's the circumstances of Urban Meyer. If the coach, there's a good culture in the building and you're just not winning. After 1 or 2 years, I don't think that's a good enough reason to, if there's a bad culture, immediately get rid of that guy. But Gus Bradley, at the time Gus Bradley was hired, he had just come off of leading that Super Bowl Seahawks defense that changed the game. That was a good hire. Like Gus Bradley was a good hire at that time. He was at the top of everybody's head coaching list, basically. Because the Seahawks defense was something that nobody had ever seen. It was cover 3 with man coverage on the outside corners. Like that was innovative in the NFL. Now, like everybody does it, but that was like very innovative and everybody wanted Gus Bradley. And he's a great guy too. Gus Bradley, one of the top 5 people in all of football, just a phenomenal personality. Doug Marrone was the interim head coach who put up some results in that, like when Gus Bradley got fired and like the team actually started doing well. And then I think the next year was the 2017 season where they did amazing. Like, then what are you going to do? You're not going to fire. You kind of got to hire him. Like, you're like, all right, well, the players all like him. Then he goes on to have this AFC championship season. Why are we not keeping him? So you keep him around, which honestly makes sense. Did they keep him like a year longer than they should have? Maybe. But I correct me if I'm wrong. I think the culture was kind of messed up with the Jags because they just did not commit to fixing the offense. And that I think it was Blake Bortles. Like I think Jalen Ramsey complained about that.
The defense absolutely carried that team that year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Blake 100%. Bortles, I don't want to just like shit on him because that was the best season of his career. I mean, he was playing for the most part very well that season. He looked athletic. He was using his legs as well, and that was a big part of the offense. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think that keeping head coaches is good. Otherwise, we wouldn't see situations like we've talked about multiple times now with like Zach Taylor and Cincinnati. Yeah. They're having a much better season this year when everybody thought that he should be fired going into this offseason and stuff like that. Something that I want to say that's still kind of on topic, but a little bit off topic. Luke, would you still fire Dan Campbell?
You better, Luke, there's one word I want to hear out of your mouth right now.
Yes.
Oh my God. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'm kidding. I'm just saying, I don't think that was a terrible take, but obviously he gets his now. He gets his terrible now. He gets his team to play hard. And I realized that, but I just didn't think that they were going to have the results. I didn't think they were going to beat the Cardinals. I didn't think that they were going to beat the Vikings, you know? But yeah, I'll eat my words. Dan Campbell's that guy.
I like in your first year as head coach. If I am knowingly handing you a shitty team, which is what, which honestly is what Urban Meyer was handed. He was handed a pile of shit, and it's what Dan Campbell was handed, who's handled a pile of shit. All I'm looking for is no headlines. I don't want any headlines unless they're good. And I want you to win over the locker room in your first year. I don't care about the wins. If you are knowingly handing them a shitty roster and it's a rebuilding team, your first year, I don't care about the wins. Just win over the locker room and get this team behind you. And I want to see like just some positive things on the field.
Yeah.
That's what Dan Campbell has done. He won over the locker room. Those guys love playing for him. And he's gotten some positive things on the field. You got freaking first overall pick Jared Goff out of Jared Goff this week, which was damn impressive.
Yeah. Are you sensing that they might have a I'm completely blanking on his name. Why can't I think of his name?
Kenny Pickett?
No. Michigan.
Cade McNamara? Jim Harbaugh.
No. Oh my God. Heisman. Yeah, Heisman. Fuck.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson. Thank you.
There you go.
Are you sensing that they're not going to have the number 1 overall pick? They might miss out on Kayvon Thibodeau.
Or
they have a little reunion. They might have a reunion, a little Michigan there.
I don't think either of those guys are like set in stone the number 1 guy. I don't think you can say Aiden Hutchinson's for sure going first. I don't think you can say Kayvon Thibodeau's for sure going first. I think one of them will, but I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna. I think that the Jags will end up having the first overall pick.
Yeah.
I think that the Lions will definitely still get their guy, whoever they get second, because both of those guys are outstanding players. And that's another thing. I think that the Lions are definitely they're in a pretty solid position. I don't want to hop on that train where everybody's like, oh, they're the best, worst team ever. No, like they still only have 2 wins. They're still kind of bad.
Yeah.
But
hey, they're 9-7 against the spread though, or something like that.
Yeah.
Every game has been competitive. Like honestly, this season, I think they've lost by like 6 game-winning field goals. Like it's been ridiculous. Every game's been close.
Yeah, they're
a lot of them at least.
I think.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that Jared Goff is that guy, but he's serviceable enough. You know what I mean? For them to skip out on a quarterback this year and go a different direction and improve on other things. Their O-line is good. Their running backs are good. Yeah. Like they've got good pieces, they've got good units. They just got to continue to build on that. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I do want to say one more thing before we move on. Dennis Allen just won himself a head coaching job. I'm sure you would agree with that, Gage.
I mean, how could you? I think that he has deserved one for a while. I love DA.
He has.
I'm not going to help. I'm not going to, like Cam said in his, I'm not going to help you guys get him a job elsewhere because I want to keep him because this is the best our defense has ever been the entire time that I've been watching football. But yeah, for him to go out there and shut out the Bucs and shut out Tom Brady for the first time since 2006, which by the way, Drew Brees was never shut out his entire career. Yeah, I think that he could definitely be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah, and he just won Aaron Rodgers an MVP. It's crazy. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Top 3 Christmas movies, guys. We all love a good old Christmas movie. I honestly, this might get some hate. I don't remember the last time I've watched a Christmas movie.
What?
I got to be honest. Like it might have been last year. It might have been the year prior. Definitely not this year.
I will say if you're watching like Hallmark movies, they're pretty forgettable. They have the same plot line, every single one of them.
That's all my sisters.
They're all every girl goes to Hallmark this time of year and just like they all include a baking competition, some C-list actors and just every happy endings at the end. And
yeah, they're all like half attractive people. Like you look at them and they're like, oh, that's not an ugly person, but
exactly,
they're all right. And then it's like a strong female lead that is like some big wig job and some little small town guy that chops wood shirtless or some shit. Yeah, it's the same thing. Definitely no Hallmark movies on these lists.
Yeah.
My sister has an app on her phone that'll let her know the schedule of all the Hallmark movies to see which ones that she wants to pick out. So yeah, that just Anyways,
I'm disgusted that that's even a thing.
Me too.
Somebody put the time into making that.
But to be fair, like that's kind of probably how they look at fantasy football for us. So
I guess.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. Anyways,
it is.
Gage, you want to start us off?
Sure. And I think mine may be a little bit controversial. I'm just going to throw that out there now. I think I'm going to start with my first one. I'm not even going to hop straight to the next one. I'm going to let you guys say whatever you have to say.
I hope you say something.
At number 3, in my bottom spot, I have Die Hard.
There we go. Yes, it's a Christmas movie.
It is a fucking Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
Thank you. I'm so glad you
100%. 100%.
Just because it didn't come out at Christmas, it takes place at Christmas time. It's a Christmas movie. I don't care. If anybody has anything to say about it, catch me outside. And number 2, I've got Elf. I mean,
classic.
Solid one. Yeah, I love Will Ferrell. Elf is great.
Amazing.
And then at number 1, I'm pretty basic here. I've got The Grinch. The Grinch is great. I'm not a person that can watch movies.
Jim Carrey Grinch? Jim Carrey Grinch?
Has to be. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a person that can watch like movies or TV shows over and over again, really. Like once I've seen it once, it's like, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah.
The Grinch is one of those movies where I can watch it repeatedly and be totally fine with it every time.
It's very funny. That movie was so good. Just actually an interesting thing. I was doing holiday trivia with my internship, and the highest grossing movie of all time, holiday movie of all time, is The Grinch, 2018 version, the animated version. Not even
really.
Yeah.
Yes, the highest grossing holiday movie of all time is that movie, which is wild.
Was it
not even the good
Netflix?
one?
Is that on Netflix?
I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't
the one that came out in 2018?
Benedict Cumberbatch, The Grinch.
I have no. I never saw it. I never saw it.
I didn't either
because I thought nothing could top nothing can top Jim Carrey's version. Like in my opinion.
I heard a story that Jim Carrey was just such a dick on that set of The Grinch.
Really?
Because he had to do every day 6 hours of makeup, 6 hours of full costume.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah. And everybody just said that he was just a terrible, person to work with. But Jim Carrey, he's Jim Carrey.
He's just a method actor. He was supposed to be a dick. He was the Grinch.
Exactly.
Right? I'm gonna let it slide.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like it might have been him also getting into character because he had to be in a bad mood to play that character too. So yeah, exactly. Those are great options. I don't have the Grinch on here, but similar list. At number 3, I'm gonna have Elf. I feel like Elf is just one of those movies that everybody loves. Will Ferrell is hilarious. He might be the funniest. Like any movie with Will Ferrell, I don't care like if it's cheesy or anything. Like they're all going to be hilarious. Like I've heard countless stories from people that have worked with Will Ferrell that say like he is the funniest guy on set every time. Like they don't realize how funny he is.
Step Brothers, classic
movie,
Hall of Fame,
classic
Hall
movie.
of Fame.
Yeah. So I don't think I need to say anything else about that. Elf is amazing. And number 2, I have Christmas Vacation. Honestly, one of the funniest movies period I've ever watched in my life. Very underrated. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough because it's not in the top tier of Christmas movies. But if you go back and watch that movie, I don't think there's a 2-minute period where you're not laughing your ass off. Like it's just so funny, so well done. I like it better than just the regular vacation movie. Like because National Lampoon's Vacation was the first one that came out. Christmas Vacation. It's just between the couple. I forget what their names are that like live in the RV, the old people, the tree, the cat. Like it. Every single scene in this movie is fucking hilarious, and I think it deserves more recognition. At number 1, Die Hard. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a phenomenal movie, and for those people that are going to argue that it's not, then I guarantee you think Home Alone is a Christmas movie. Why is Home Alone a Christmas movie? Give me one reason why Home Alone is a Christmas movie other than the fact that it takes place during Christmas, because you can't. Because the whole movie is about his family going on vacation and him trying not to get robbed. That's the entire movie. The entire movie has nothing to do with Christmas other than the fact that it takes place during Christmas. So if Home Alone is a Christmas movie, then Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I rest my case.
I've never seen Die Hard.
What?
I've never seen Die Hard.
Luke, I don't want to hear any shit about not seeing Spider-Man yet.
Spider-Man. This is
You need to.
If you're gonna give Jake shit about not having seen Spider-Man yet, you have to. We're not doing an episode on Friday. I want you to take that time to please watch Die Hard.
Jake has had 4 days to watch Spider-Man. I've had about 32 years.
I was away. I think it's on. What's it on? It's not on Netflix, unfortunately.
It shouldn't be hard to find.
Yeah, it's on something. All right. I want to give an honorable mention to The Year Without a Santa Claus because Snow Miser and Heat Miser are my boys. From day one. I mean, claymation. That claymation, just the holiday spirit that it brings out in an individual, it's unmatched. Mm-hmm. All right, top 3. At 3, I do have Home Alone, and I have the Home Alone saga as well, the entire series. Because I don't necessarily. The first one is classic, but I don't necessarily like one more than the other. Macaulay Culkin, that's all-time classic.
As soon as I got rid of Macaulay Culkin, I mean 3 was all right. 3 was like okay, and then 4 is they just came out with 4, right?
All right, maybe like the first 2. Let's go with
the first 2 is okay. First 2 are iconic. I wouldn't say 3 or 4 are very iconic.
Let's go with the first 2. At 2, Tim Allen's the Santa Claus. I mean, you can't cast a better person to just play that role. Yeah. It was awesome. That was one of my favorite as a kid. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I saw it. Damn. All right, maybe I'll go watch that tonight. Maybe that'll be my plans for tonight. And at 1, my all-time favorite Christmas movie. And for our new Gen Z listeners, you might not know this one. It's A Wonderful Life. All-time classic, not even just Christmas movie, just great movie in general. I mean, the message that it brings just about the loves of your life and how really everybody, what is the fucking plot of that story? It's been
a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get shit on here.
George went to the bridge. Wow.
I've never seen it. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. It's just my thing. I just don't like watching black and white movies. That's my thing.
I also am not that type that watches black and white, but It's a Wonderful Life has always gotten me.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid, they showed it in school, and I was like, oh, I went home and watched it one day. George Bailey, I can't remember. He's like a banker, and his bank is going bankrupt, and he's living a horrible life. He goes to a bridge where he's gonna try to end his life, and then he gets saved by a guardian angel, and that guardian angel shows him what his life is like if he weren't to be there. So that is I'm awesome. That's awesome. I remember that. So 3, Home Alone, 2, The Santa Claus, and 1, A Wonderful Life. Now, to conclude this episode, we're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas holiday traditions. Anything you celebrate with the fam, any memory that you have, we want to hear it. Let's get the sentimental knuckles cracking. Let's talk about some holiday memories. Jake, you want to start us?
Yeah. So it's not really a tradition, but I will talk about a tradition because I kind of had 2 things for this one. Mm-hmm. In terms of like tradition, when I was younger, my dad used to go all out for making me, of course there's Santa Claus, mm-hmm. But just selling it a little more. He would go on the roof and he would bite carrots, throw them on our front yard, and burn the tips of some of them. And he would tell us that those were the ones that Rudolph ate, and his nose would burn the carrots. So that was just 10 out of 10 for creativity, Dad. Just awesome there. That was really good.
I'm glad to hear that you were one of those kids that put out carrots for Rudolph, because not many people. You had to. Always forget about it.
Yeah, you had to feed the reindeer, mm-hmm. of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of like my favorite Christmas memory, it had to be, it was either like 08 or 09. We got Guitar Hero for the first time. This is when Guitar Hero was just released, the first one, sweeping the nation. And after we wrapped up, unwrapping all the presents, we instantly went to play it. And my parents did not let us play. They didn't let us play it because they were playing it for like 2 hours. The entire day was spent. Like, I shit you not. It was like trying to get the game away from like your older sibling. Like, they were just hogging it. I was like, Mom, can we play? And they were just like, no. Sit off to the side. Go get something to eat. Mm-hmm. We're playing this. They played it for like 2 to 3 hours. Like, they just did not, they hogged it. And it was so, I would come home from school and they would just be playing Guitar Hero. Like, I don't know, like, it was wild. I had never seen anything like, I don't just come home from school and my parents are playing my PlayStation. Like, it was such a foreign concept to me. So that was honestly probably the funniest memory I ever have from Christmas.
It's funny you say that because my family did the same exact thing, but except they did it with rock bands, like the Beatles version of it.
Yep.
Which they just went crazy for that one. All right, Gage, what do you got?
For me, this isn't meant to be like a sad part of it or whatever, but my parents are not together and they haven't been since I was like really young. So I would kind of go back and forth for different holidays and stuff. We'd switch it each year. So whenever I would go and visit my dad for Christmas, me and like that side of the family and everything would go to this park in Virginia. It's called Clearbrook Park. And they had like a bunch of lights set up and everything. And we would walk around the park and see all the lights and all that stuff. And you could go and see Santa in this little shed and everything. And it was all set up all nice. They give you hot cocoa and, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So that's probably my favorite, like, tradition type thing that we did. We always did that every year. The whole family would go out and everything. As far as like a specific memory, I would have to say that my dad, this was like after Christmas, or I think it was just before I was supposed to go back home, like to my mom or whatever. My dad took me to Toys R Us, and like we had done presents and all that stuff already. And we go into Toys R Us and we're just like looking around. And he told me that he was there. He had to get something from there for somebody or something or another. And he told me to go look at something. And then he called me back up to where the register is because he was ready to pay. And he was buying me a PS3. And I had no idea. Like totally awesome. Surprised me.
That's awesome.
So that's definitely one of my favorite memories. I love that.
That's awesome. You love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms, I'm gonna lay out for you guys my worst and my best Christmas memory. This also ties into tradition. So, a tradition that my family has every year, and I feel like other families have this as well, is my mom will usually let me and my sister and my nephew and everybody will open up one present on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
So this was actually, I want to say like 4 years ago. My mom let me pick out any present I want, and I don't know what I picked a present out, and my mom was like, "Yeah, go ahead and open that one." But in my head, like my intuition told me, I was like, this is my big present, isn't it? I don't know what in my head told me, because usually my mom always gets me like one big present that she saves at the end, right? I was like, this is my big present, isn't it? And I was like, I asked my mom, I said, Mom, are you sure you want me to open this? She's like, yeah, I don't even know what it is, because she's wrapped so many presents. She's like, yeah, I don't even know what it is anymore. Yeah. It was my big present. It was an iPhone, and I got that on Christmas Eve. I couldn't be upset.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, I wish I could have opened this earlier tomorrow. And I knew it. It's just kind of like, I knew it was, I don't know what the feeling I had. Maybe it's a Christmas miracle, but like, I knew it was going to be
anticipation, like leading
up. Yeah. The way it was wrapped, the ribbon,
big one.
Cause it was like two presents and they were small, like attached to each other. It was, one of them was the phone. One was like the phone case, and they had like a ribbon attached to it. And I was like, she went all out for this wrapping job. I was like, this is it. My best memory as a child growing up for Christmas was one year, I want to say it was like 2008, 2009. All I wanted, literally the only thing I wanted for Christmas were Bakugan. I was obsessed with Bakugan.
Yeah,
those little ball things that you roll on the cards.
Craze, yeah.
Yes, I was obsessed with them. Okay. I go through the day, we open up all of our presents. I did not get a single Bakugan, and I was low-key very upset. And I wasn't going to tell anybody because I just got a bunch of other stuff, but like I was kind of traumatized as a kid. So we finished Christmas at our house, and we go to my grandma's house, where I just thought we were going to have like dinner with the family, maybe exchange a few gifts or whatever. I go into my grandma's house with all my family there, and there's a big suitcase, like underneath the Christmas tree. And I had my name on it. So I was like, what the fuck? I don't want a suitcase. I'm like 8 years old. I'm like, what the fuck do I need a suitcase for? And they're like, no, open it. I open it up, and I kid you not, in all boxed up everything, there must have been like at least 100 Bakugan in there. And I freaked out. I've never been more excited in my life. It was the best Christmas present best reaction I've still probably had to this day. That was my fondest memory growing up. Bakugans did something to me, man. Bakugans they were crazy.
Those are awesome, man. I remember those. I got a case too. Yeah, that was awesome. That was an awesome one.
They were so I seen they're starting to bring them back too. I've been seeing them in stores.
Yeah. My little cousins, they're like 7 and 4, are playing with them, and I'm like, you guys still have these? Like, I feel like these flamed out like in like 2 years. It's funny you say that, because I have a similar memory. I was like arguing with this one as my best memory. It was when the PlayStation 4s, this kind of ties in, but it was when PlayStation 4 was released, and like you couldn't get one. Like you could not get a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. I'm obviously have taste, so I'm a PlayStation person. All right, no, I'm just saying.
Xbox guy.
Yeah, well, and that's why you're not being festive. It makes sense.
Yeah, that's why you don't have.
All right,
it makes sense, Gage. I'm not gonna lie. No, but I opened all my presents. I just wanted a PlayStation 4, and I had no idea. My mom was very open throughout the process about whether she got one or not, because you just couldn't get one. So she was like, so I was just sending her links of like, oh, this is when this place is restocking. This is when this place is restocking, and like December 22nd or 3rd, she's like, Jake, like I just couldn't get one. And I was like, you know what? I completely understand. I get it. So I'm still kind of hoping she's lying to me. I get to it. I get to Christmas Day. It's Christmas morning. We're wrapping all of our gifts. I unwrap all my gifts. No PlayStation. I'm like, fuck, she didn't get it. And when all my friends are texting me like, oh my God, I got one. I'm just like, oh, damn it. I'm the one kid that didn't get one. And then my sisters also, because my sister and I have different sides of the tree. You know, my presents will be on one side, hers will be on the other. And she goes, what's this one? It's heavy. And she's like, why is it listed for Jake? And I was like, are you My mom starts dying laughing, and she gives me the box, and I unwrap it. It's a PlayStation. She let me be sad for like 10 minutes. I was like borderline crying, and she's laughing her ass off at my sadness. Like she's like, I got you. And I was like, that was kind of mean. Like, what the hell? Like, obviously I was super happy.
Perks of being a parent.
Like, thank you so much. I know that you can instill some sadness and that led your kids to be super. Exactly.
She knew what she was doing. 100%.
She knew exactly what she was doing, but that was honestly an awesome memory. So that was another one that I was kind of debating with.
I just want to jump back to the Bakugan thing real quick. I feel like I was on the tail end of that, where I was like getting a little too old to be, but I had some.
Yeah,
but I was more of a Beyblades kid.
Yeah, like Beyblades were great.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, when I was young, I had a bunch of those. So when Bakugan came around, I was like, "This is just revamped Beyblades. Yeah. Get this out of my sight."
And they're also bringing back Beyblades as well. Like literally, it's right next to each other in Target.
Yeah,
it's Beyblades, Bakugan.
Yeah, and then Pokemon's always
Pokemon never win anyway.
Forever. Yeah, forever. That'll stay forever. That's what the Bakugan thing kind of reminded me of. I was like, this is the new Pokemon, which is basically was. But those things are awesome. I'm glad they're coming back.
Did you guys have Digimon? Did you do the whole Digimon?
I knew about Digimon. I did not have Digimon.
I'd had some like the games and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was just a show for a while, like growing up. Because I remember seeing it like on Cartoon Network or whatnot.
Yeah.
I never knew it was an actual game because I was like I loved Pokemon so much,
Yeah. During that Bakugan, hey, Buster.
Buster.
There he is.
Whining.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. There you go. It's not a Christmas episode unless we have a doggo on it.
Yeah.
I remember during that Bakugan case, I was so behind because everybody was bringing these Bakugan. I didn't have any. And then I finally got this tin. And I was like studying up on Bakugan because I wanted to impress everybody because I was just so behind. I watched the entire series on YouTube. And then I would to the point where I could quote I could quote the series and the episode, what time it was said. And my friends were just looking at me like, you know too much. Like, this is too much. You went too far. And I was just like, man, sorry. I was like,
you ruined Bakugan for us.
Yeah. It was like, Jake, this is it's nerdy, but
Jake was out there on the playground, tossing Bakugan like he was pitching baseballs.
Yeah,
it was exactly. If I curve this one the right way.
It was not okay. It was a little unhealthy, how much I knew about Bakugan. I'm glad to say I forgot most of it, so that's good.
I used to be on the school bus going to school, and because the inside of the school bus was metal, we used to stick them on the school bus 100 at a time. 100 at a time, we would just stick them on.
Or the seatbelt buckles.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those were awesome.
Oh, man, good time.
The days. The days.
Now I look forward to getting socks for Christmas. I'm actually I told my mom I wanted socks. All my socks have holes in them. I'm legitimately excited to get socks right now. I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna cry if I don't get socks for Christmas, which is wild.
Your mom said you're not getting socks this Christmas.
You couldn't get them, Jake. She couldn't find them at the store. They were sold out.
You guys after Christmas when we film our episode, you guys will did you get? If I'm visibly upset, I didn't get socks. Honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy what getting old gets you guys.
Right.
Anybody that's middle school, high school listening to this is probably seriously. Yes, you get excited for this shit growing up.
One day.
I don't want to admit it. My uncles told me this growing up. You're gonna be excited to get socks one day, and I'm like, no. Never. I'm that day has come.
I feel we've all been in the same boat. I feel that's honestly everybody.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
It's how it is. And honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it at this point.
100%. Can't hurt. Add a couple new socks to the collection.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah. All right. And that is going to wrap it up for episode 45 of the Totally Unqualified podcast. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Guys. This is going to be the only episode that we released this week. We're going to take a little bit of a holiday break, but we hope that you guys all have a tremendous holiday as we get closer towards the end of the year. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave us a rating and review. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, comment, send it to Santa, send it to your grandma, send it to everybody. You want to see our pretty faces every week. So you know the drill. Anything you guys want to end with?
Gage, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. make sure to follow us on all of our socials if you want to keep up with us there. If you're all caught up on the podcast or whatever the case may be, we all have TikToks that we're posting on. It's Jake Maltese for Jake, or Jake Maltese 3, excuse me. For Jake, it is Football Fan Zone for Luke, and I am Extra Points on TikTok, or you can follow us on any of our totally unqualified accounts. If you want to be like Martellus Bennett, for example, and check out our Instagram, he did comment on our recent video. Just throwing that out there,
Ramondre Stevenson too viewed our story.
So if you want to be like those guys, definitely be sure to check out our other socials as well. We've got plenty of them, so be sure to do that.
Yeah, guys, and again, thank you so much for the constant support. We would not be here without you guys. We are so appreciative for it. We see the podcast growing every single day. We see the socials growing every single day, and the community that we've created in Discord and in the Overtime app. Honestly, it means so much to us, guys. And in this holiday season, we just want to all thank you guys so much because you have truly given us our dream. Like this, I can't describe it in any other way. So we wish you guys the best. We wish you guys the best holiday ever. And we will see you guys in the next one. Take care.